We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Our guest this morning, Senator Jim Tracy, here in the state of Tennessee, of course. Tobacco age regulation, the topic. Trying to increase the age of when you can legally buy tobacco products from 18 to 21. What are some of the stats? You were reading a couple to me about what some, in the state of Tennessee, 4,700
become smokers. 18, under 18, and purchased 10.5 million packs of cigarettes.
Every year?
Every year.
Okay, now, and when you say that purchase, that's where that cost comes in. Think about it. All those cigarettes being purchased, that's money that will be lost if this happens. That's the tax.
Correct. And that's where they're going to go after.
Well, you know what you should do to fill in that gap, and again, you've made the point, which I think is excellent, that, you know, the savings will come down the road from healthcare costs and everything else. But why don't you, while you're at it, increase the cigarette tax as well. Push it up there, okay. Push it to 21 and then push the cigarette tax up. So of course that affects everyone though, including adults that are smoking, and they won't like that as much.
That's correct. And it would be harder to pass if you increase the tax.
Yeah, okay. Good point. Let's go to Bob. Bob, good morning. Hey, Bob.
Oh, good morning. It's a good program.
Yeah.
My point is, you know, you go to the doctor, they're going to say, well, just don't smoke. They won't give you any medicine. There's medicine out there, analgesics work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because I don't want people to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting people, part of it's getting people to quit. Treatments that are out there for getting people off it. I don't know.
One of the big folks that advertise all the time is a product that they give you to quit smoking. I don't know, but you see that on...
Well, you hear about some of the gums like Nicorette and things like this that are supposed to slowly, or you get the nicotine patch. That's the whole key, is getting people weaned off of that, I suppose, right?
Weaning off the nicotine. You're addicted to the nicotine, and they wean them off the nicotine and get them off smoking. So.
Now, how will you lobby other lawmakers to get them on board? What if someone comes into you and says, look, Jim, first of all, I'm Republican, we're pro-business and we're pro the money, and I'm worried that this is going to not only hurt some of the folks in this great state of Tennessee that are in the tobacco industry, but it's also going to hurt our bottom line.
I don't think it will. I would sell them on the fact, number one, it's not going to hurt business. It's just moving the age to 18, 21. We're not keeping people from buying tobacco products. We're just changing the age from 18 to 21. It's going to improve the health in Tennessee, so it's going to improve the health care cost in Tennessee long term. And it's the right thing to do. And I would ask them, I said, do you have any children?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got 2 children, 14 and 15. Do you want them smoking? No, of course I don't want them smoking. Well, you need to vote for this legislation then, because it's the right thing to do.
Because they're going to be around older kids that can give them the cigarettes. Yeah. I didn't even think of that component part of it when I first saw this. I thought, all right, yeah, let's cut off that 3-year group. But I didn't think there's 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are smoking because of this. I mean,
they are, from what the doctors tell me. And it makes common sense that they have friends that are under 18.
Now, if there are hearings on this, I guess would there be hearings at some point? There will be.
We'll be presenting the bill in committee.
So when you present it, what will you do? Can you bring in witnesses to testify? Can you bring in maybe young people or people that started smoking young who have part of their jaw removed because they've gotten lip cancer or because they're deling with health problems?
Yes, and anyone that's watching that would like to come up and testify,
okay, good.
Contact my office at 615-741-1066. Or email me and we will contact you.
So what are you specifically looking for here? Folks that can testify their own personal stories?
Young people that started smoking at the age 18 or younger, and why it was so hard for them to get off it, they did quit, or they're still smoking and they got started when they were young.
Yeah.
Those kind of folks to testify would be powerful, along with some doctors.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Testimonials like that.
Well, especially if there's someone dealing with horrible health problems. You know how it is. They get up there and someone talks about, wow, how bad it's been. And, you know, can you imagine a young person with COPD or something like that from smoking? That just doesn't happen in young people. It shouldn't. But if they've been smoking, think about it. If you've been smoking from 14 to by the time you're 21, you've been smoking there for 7 years.
It's damaged your lungs. It's damaged your arteries. Now, sometimes you can recoup that from reading if you get off of them and you start exercising, but still, it's affected your health.
All right, where exactly does the bill stand right now? I mean, it's been introduced?
It's been introduced. The clerk will appoint it to a committee. Okay. I assume it'll be Health Committee in the Senate. We'll present the bill to Health Committee. So if we got folks that would like to come testify,
all right,
I would love to have them.
Now, what committee? You're not on the Health Committee yourself.
No, I'm not.
You are transportation?
Chairman, Transportation and Safety.
Okay.
But I'm also on education. I would say this is a big, folks in education field would see this was a need too.
I would agree. By the way, just not to get too far afield, but being in charge of transportation as you are, what did you think of the way the roads were this past week and how it played out?
I'm
what did you think of TDOT
glad
and all
you
that?
brought that up. We've got a committee this afternoon. I really want to thank TDOT and all the workers. They were going 24 hours a day.
Oh, you saw them out there, yeah.
And they did a great job of clearing it. You know, and someone was talking to me over the weekend. We don't have the snow that they do up north and, you know, New York.
Right, so we don't have the infrastructure, all the snow plows. Like, we don't want to spend money on that if it only happens once in a blue moon, right? So
That's
you're
correct.
working with less.
I was talking to some folks at TDOT Friday. We were having conversations, and they were just telling me where the big snows were. Of course, up around Goodlettsville was huge.
Yeah.
Robertson County was huge. And I thought they did a great job. And I want to compliment them for the job they did. And, you know, that's hard work. I mean, just out there working. And we were able to get out there. I actually got out Saturday, and the main roads were pretty clear Saturday. They got out and scraped them and salted them and had them ready to go.
What did you say? Is there a hearing today, or what? You just were saying, is there something today?
We've got a committee meeting today, transportation, and we're going to have commissioner there, and I'm going to compliment them today.
Oh,
before
okay,
the
I'll mention
committee.
that in the morning meeting. That maybe that's something swinging by, as we cover stuff. And one other thing, since I think we've covered tobacco and that, but just wanted to bring up, as we all know, and I know you knew him well, John J. Hooker. Died this past week. He had been on this show before. I'd come to know him over interviewing. Wouldn't call him a friend per se, but he's certainly someone I knew, and he knew me, and I had a lot of respect for him. You knew him.
I knew him. He used to come to the plaza, come to my office quite often. And
why did he like coming, or why did you like talking to him?
he was so knowledgeable Tennessee history.
Which you love.
And I grew up in Tennessee. I remember when John Jay ran for governor against Winfield Dunn in 1970. I'll tell you a real quick story. I had the opportunity one day to eat lunch with Governor Dunn and John Jay.
How cool is that?
And they ran against each other in 1970, and they wound up being very good friends in the last 10 years or so. And I learned so much, had so much fun listening to those guys talk. And we talked about John Jay's run when he ran against Winfield back in 1970, and he told me all about it. And he always brought ideas to me and he was great on the Tennessee Constitution.
He really knew his stuff. See, some people later in life just thought, well, he's this political gadfly, and he comes up with these half-baked ideas, some people would say. And the truth is, almost everything he brought up was grounded in reality, in terms of, legally, he had a point to stand on. It didn't always go places, but, I mean, he was right on the money, wasn't he?
He knew the Constitution. He always had it with him in his pocket. And he always had that.
He may have had a different interpretation, but he always had it.
He had it, and he was just a interesting fella, had a lot of stories. And
stuff with Muhammad Ali, who was one of his best friends, and the Kennedys.
John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, who could tell you, with growing up in Tennessee, I mean, he was part of Tennessee history. Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken.
I was about to bring that up. Do you remember that? That was before I moved here, but it did well initially, and then it kind of faded away.
I remember the fried chicken. He also did Hooker's Hamburgers.
Okay. Oh, I remember that too.
He had Hooker's Hamburgers, was a drive-through hamburger place, and they were good hamburgers.
Yeah. Well, he could talk people into it. He must have talked Minnie Pearl into thinking, you can sell more, drumsticks than the Colonel. Let's open something up for yourself. And
I'll tell you one more John Jay story. I went to get a cup of coffee one day in the coffee shop, and John Jay just happened to be in there. He said, "Come on, Senator, come over here and talk to me." And I sat down, went and talked to him, and he was strategizing. This was only 2 or 3 years ago. Strategizing on getting a franchise to compete with Starbucks. This was his idea. He had to present it. He had it all written down on paper. He said, "I want you to see this idea." So his mind was working on another idea. He said, "This will work. We can compete with Starbucks."
Oh yeah. He told me over the years he had made and lost millions. I mean, he made and lost millions. He just kept rolling on. Real quickly, the last thing is, his thing is dying on his deathbed. He pushed for death with dignity, which, is a piece of legislation. I don't know. And do you think it has a chance to go anywhere? He basically was looking to give folks who are terminally ill in certain situations, the right to end their lives, which is a controversial topic. I know some states have passed it. What do you think?
I think it's going to be difficult to do. I haven't read it specifically, but he talked to me about it.
Yeah.
He came to see me, and he was very genuine about it.
Oh, sure, and he was living it, and that's why I had so much respect. Here was a man dying and acknowledging this is something to think about, and not just for me, but for other people. That's an idea whose time eventually will come to some degree as we see it pass. It just needs to be regulated, and I understand why lawmakers like yourself are concerned anytime you talk about taking a life.
Correct. It'll be difficult.
But as always, John Jay, kind of a visionary thinker. He will be missed.
He will.
A good man. Senator, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate it. Haven't seen you in a while. We'll certainly follow the progress for this. I, for one, think it's a great idea.
Well,
Okay.
anyone that wants to talk to me about it, feel free
Yeah,
to
as
touch
you
me.
heard, he said, if you have a testimony about cigarettes, and the idea of how you started early, got hooked, and the health problems that go with it, you're looking for people to testify on these
I am.
committees, and we'll follow it. But I appreciate you coming on so early and
Thank
making
you,
it in
Nick.
this cold weather. We'll take a break. I'll be back, wrap things up with the programming note about tomorrow right after this. Stay with us.